Guys, what the hell is Day of Reconciliation? Like, what even is this holiday actually? And why is it on the 16th of December? Most South Africans don't stop to think about it actually, or even bother looking up the origin of this public holiday. We just thank Nelly M and his ANC homies for hooking us up with a day off work and call it a day. Well guys, as I'm sure many of you have guessed by the name of this holiday, it actually has a lot to do with South Africa's dark history of racial division and hostility. The date is significant in the histories of both black and white South Africans. So let's take it all the way back to 1838. On the 16th of December of that year, the Afrikaner Voortrekkers fought the Battle of Blood River against the Zulu Kingdom. The Voortrekkers believed they had made a covenant with God that if they won the battle, they would forever dedicate the day to giving thanks. They ended up winning, and for over a century, the 16th of December became known as Dingane's Day, or Dingansdag in Afrikaans, named after the Zulu king Dingane, who they had defeated on that fateful day in 1838. Then in 1952, they renamed the day to the Day of the Covenant, named after the covenant they had made with God in 1838. Then in 1982, the official Public Holidays Act changed the name to Geloftedag, or Day of the Vow, named after the vow the Afrikaners made to God to give thanks on this day. Now on the Black liberation side of history, the 16th of December had a totally different meaning. After decades of peaceful protest by black South Africans against the policies and tyranny of apartheid, and those peaceful protests quite often being met with savage attacks and violence from the apartheid government, the liberation icons Nelson Mandela and Walter Sisulu decided to lock in and form Umkhonto weSizwe, meaning Spear of the Nation, on the 16th of December 1961. Mandela, Sisulu, along with other key figures in the ANC and SACP, formed Umkhonto weSizwe as the armed military wing of the ANC to fight the apartheid government after non-violent methods proved ineffective and protesters were killed. Umkhonto weSizwe initially focused on sabotage against state infrastructure to avoid loss of life, but Mandela warned that if the apartheid regime kept closing all peaceful channels, the country would inevitably slide into civil war, and if that happened, Mandela would be willing and ready to fight a civil war to free his people. So now we have one date with two totally opposite meanings. For Afrikaners, it was a symbol of victory and divine favor. For the liberation movement, it was the start of the armed fight for freedom. The same day, but a completely different story depending on who you were. Then comes 1994, South Africa becomes a democracy, and the new government faces a huge question. How do you build unity in a country with such divided memories? Instead of deleting the date altogether or choosing one side over the other, which would obviously inflame racial tensions